I already shot like 260 videos since I have this channel, and it has multiple like upsides. One is that I have like a sort of peace of mind because of some sort of space-time alibi which is online, and some sort of subscribers, followers who are, let's say, witnesses to that, even though it's digital. The second thing is I couldn't never write the book or something like that, because it's thoughts which come. I always shoot everything first time, because I am my mind, my course rush too fast to capture it all. So when I put it like on video, it's like relief, because I have like a post-it somewhere on the internet. So hopefully it will be like YouTube will exist because I'm like too lazy to even download my videos one day. I hope maybe someone else will do it, because for instance I had a guitar until they like butchered. I mean, I'm thankful because I had osteomyelitis, but my nerve on my right thumb, it's the fat tissue in between was split in two. Like it's not like one pillow, but it's two pillows. The nerving is also a little bit different, and I actually was playing sort of Spanish guitar on with nickel coiled on acoustic guitar, and this was like sort of my, what's it called, trademark. So I used to this slap with the thumb and to palm mute with the thumb, and now I have to reconfigure how to do that. And since then I haven't even played guitar, I'm afraid. Maybe I will have to switch to the pick. I don't want to do that, but it's destiny. So with the same with my controller, I can't use my left fader because it's not responding. It's not reliable. So I found a way around, and this way around gave me another insights, which I will keep for myself, but which will make me sound consistent and to have like a distinctive sound. So that's like the point. Like, you're an artist, like you're a painter, you want to have some sort of emotional reaction which reflects me as a person and which cannot be spoken with words, even though I'm trying the best I can, and I think I'm really good, and I have like this multiple API, so I can like adjust myself to different types of people and their way of understanding most of the time. But even then, the most basic operations, which you have like Boolean, plus, minus, multiply, we all when we learn it in mathematics, we visualize it by ourselves. Do you have like a basket with apples, or I don't know, eggs, whatever, coins? Everybody visualizes let's say adding is like I visualize mostly apples. Minus, I cannot visualize at all. Multiplying by zero is somehow like magic. I can visualize it. I can visualize it as transportation, but without knowing where the subject is afterwards, it's like gone. Multiply, I'm still figuring it out, but it is like roller coaster. Divided is maybe the most sense. It makes most sense and functions even more. But that's are things which we take for granted, which are not a loss. It's we did the best out of what we could at the moment, and which was popular and functional and easy to transfer knowledge and to understand. That was kept alive. The other things some good things, some bad things, but weren't popular enough. We have one chair. The chair has like four legs, and the concept is always the same. 100, 200 years ago, before 500 years ago, sorry, because I remember Chesterfield or whatever, the English had like this chairs 500 years ago. So before the chair, what was then? There was certainly a point in time where there was like the chair, which just started, and another thing for sitting. And somehow this gained popularity. The other thing, just like everything else, didn't survive. Who knows? This chair was so functional and easy that everybody accepted and adapted its design. Although you have like billions of chairs in the world, and you have the concept of the chair, which is only in your mind and nowhere else. Somebody thought of it, of this concept. So which is more real? The thought, the concept of object where you can sit on, which doesn't exist materially, or all the chairs together in the world which exists in reality? Which is more real? Because this wouldn't exist without this. This is the product of this. So you see what I'm meaning? It's like a mirror. Don't try to understand the mirror. We won't understand it. At least I won't. Somebody will, but will be. Even if I knew, I don't care. I'm glad that it's there. I can use it. It's not expensive. I don't use it very much. But when I want to do something, I don't know, with my skin or something precise, I have this opportunity. It's like a piece of aluminium foil with glass, supposedly. If I would do it and buy aluminium foil in a shop and some glass, I don't think I would get such reflection. But I haven't tried, I don't know. It's interesting, at least, because the cat understands it better than we do, because we don't understand what the cat is seeing. The cat is seeing something. And one of my friends, his grandfather, he was from the land. I maybe even told you that. There were two instances that was like less than 40 years ago. They're from Bosnia and had no contact to any outer civilization or bigger cities or something like that. One of them, grandfather didn't see electric bulb till he was in this like military base on the border, and one of my friends was at the post. He was doing his like 2 years. He had to be on. I don't know what's the term. Doesn't matter. And he saw him. This guy, this older guy. He was like the switch for the bulb. He was like switch on, looking, bulb on, light, bulb switch off, bulb off. 2 hours fascinated, like 80-year-old grandfather. He didn't know about other sources of light but lightning and fire and maybe fireflies. So you can see like it's really really individual. And the other one, he was also really from far away, and he like technological wise he didn't never seen a TV. So they had like a TV on, like for hours, and he turned off the TV. And my friend said, "Why did you turn off the TV?" He said, "Like the guy is talking all day. Let him relax a little bit. He was talking all the time. He thought there was a person inside. Because, or in Tibet when I don't know, the explorer from Hitler." Who was making movies. When he was going to Tibet, he showed them like a movie, and when the Tibetans saw the close-up scenes, they were like shouting and screaming, "Give us a full person. We want to see the full person." They were like so out of connection with this conception which we have like unconsciously, that you have changes of editing and of directing a picture, close or like a fixed motion or something like that. They were like pissed because they wanted to see the whole person, not what the person was doing, because they never seen a picture before. So people who firstly for the first time see technology act differently. There was like, I speak really quickly. It's also good for encoding and everything else. You get it. I trying my best to leave as much knowledge, basically, and some messages and some maybe inspiration or some things like that, which I hope they're mine. Because I don't inherit it if it's not. I think that I should inherit it. That the universe was sending me this message, even though I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I just know I'm not bored, and that I got to a point where I can say, yeah, life is like worth exploring. You just have to lose the fear, because it's not easy. I know. Maybe I don't know, because you have like two roads or maybe more roads. But most of people, when I'm 39, they have either have families or have some sort of serious businesses or serious like relationships or whatever it is. They have some sort of dependencies where they have to like, in some sort. I'm trying to imagine this point where you like have to not give up on yourself, but like invest less in your future and put more into a collective or some sort of protective when it's the parents, because it's also part of this Kabbalah shit, It's like somebody said, you cannot live to the fullest until you go from your place where you are. You have to see it from your with the other eyes, from beyond. But at the same time, it's just a code. It's just a code that means like you have to break your umbilical cord. That's the hardest part, because everything I say, it it has like a threshold. You know, if you touch my family, I will kill you. I will do time. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many children you have. But I will kill everyone. I leave you to the end. And I'll watch you a little bit to suffer. And if you don't commit suicide, then I will kill you, or I will let you do time. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with my family. Don't fuck with my friends. And I know you already know it. Because if you didn't know it, you wouldn't be so much afraid. Because I don't know why. I'm not afraid of dying. I don't want to die, but I really don't think about it at all. It's like Animal Planet, If somebody grabs me here, it's like this South Park episode with this guy in a restaurant with this wine glass. Look at her, supposedly some sort of China Ukrainian, and then some hybrid between a dog, robot, and Godzilla eats him, because it's like a secret UK genetical lab producing some weird creatures, which escape, blah blah, and it does tie up. It has like there are also some episodes. I forgot what's the name. Yeah, it's Sherlock Holmes. Yes, Sherlock Holmes is the one with these dogs. I don't think it's much from the truth. It's like natural to explore with all the tools you have. Why wouldn't you? But to keep it secret, it also makes sense, because people are sensitive, people are really individual and have a big mouth, and they mostly listen to things they rely to or understand or think they can understand or can further their understanding. And with people who they don't have an understanding and have like constantly fighting, they won't ask for their advice, won't hang around, and will develop a feeling of not being on the same level with this person just because they have like different standpoints. But it's more like gutsy to have respect for someone who has the same amount of passion for something. At least this person understands why he's doing it. Nobody's bossing him, like me, I have no boss. It was like this guy, it was like 15 years ago, and I also had like really, really, uh, let's say, weird childhood, but very liberal sort of way. But in other ways, it was really, you have to be by yourself. You have to be in survival mode, you know. And it was like military, you know. It was like I had to. My brain had to develop in a different way, you know. So I missed out on some other things. Firstly, I thought, you know, but later on, somebody asked me, "Why don't you say you love me?" Or it's just a saying, you know. Loving is showing, you know. That's the part where you show if you love someone or don't love some most of the times, you know. But saying it, in my opinion, just makes it suspicious. Why would I say it? You know, it should be visible. And I heard like a saying, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I remembered it. You know, they say like people who are in love, they don't watch each other, they watch the same spot, they watch the same thing, they don't watch themselves, but somewhere in the same thing. That's like really nice. Sounds nice. But what I wanted to say further, because this is my thing, been going on all in, you know, almost all in. I didn't have to go all in. The first two times were really, really hard because I did also experience some divine help, but I was really, I got rid of everything I had, you know, because sentiment, and there is no time for rethinking what's going on. You have to act. It's like, what's it called? We have it like fight or flight. You know, I did try mushrooms and those things, and I had been reading and Steiner and those, you know, so I am familiar. And my dad was doing yoga and acupuncture, and my aunt and grandpa, they're also very open. So I never had like anybody who was saying, like, listen, kid, this is this and this. You know, I had actually no parenting, you know, just being around. So I had to, not to had to, they saw that I was able to do it, and I had a brother, so it was really easy because we were like, we when we wanted something, we knew how to get it, you know. But in terms of this fear and this eminence, whatever it is, you know, they're they're they are out of ammunition, let's say, because the first two times I had to logarithmically catch up, but the first time was the second tricks as the first and the second time, and then further and further. And now when they would try to poison me, I can see that they can have like a location, but they cannot write new location because they have no processing. They're on top of processing, on top of memory. The heating and the cooling and the power supply is exceeding the gain, so they're out of balance. They're not able to catch up. So because the same tricks, you know, they know, let's say, the location, but they need to capture the time, and that's like if you look at like computer wise, that's like really low system, you know. And they're on this point, they're like unable to control their own system. They didn't have in mind that it could overrun, and they didn't have the capacity and had the ignorance to ignore knowledge. So now they're in a position where their minds are too stupid and incapable, everybody together, to get anything new out of anything and any conclusive original thinking and reacting and adjusting to the situation, because the motives are totally out of compass. So we just need to wait. because it's over. They're over. But I tell you, on Ibiza I've seen 2 times these stars flying around. Stars, capsules. So who knows if they stay at all. And when I said 50-50, evil and good, it doesn't mean that 50% of people are aliens or evil. It just means that they're tuned to the evil frequencies, and whatever they do, they can be a detector and out of mind, literally, without even knowing, a zombie. How? We will one day know it, but it's most likely through EEG, and glands and heartbeat and time and information, no knowledge. So you see, they're giving us art, music, and those things, and you have like older records which have no metronome, which were played by feeling, and the tempo goes up and down, and it has no, it's like P. It has like multiple numbers which you cannot detect the tempo with this metrics, without metrics. You can do it with the heart and with the feet and with listening and learning how to listen and practicing it. So we will come to that point. So the only thing which needs to happen is, trust me, don't let them fool you. Their fear is much, much bigger than you can ever imagine. And just test them. Just listen to your heart and passion and go through the wall when you think you need to go through the wall, and let them know that they cannot fuck with you. They're already on their knees, trust me. But me as a warrior, I'm looking forward for the final fight, whatever, or eternal fight. I don't give a fuck. I've seen the fear, That's why I stick around. That's why I'm interested. That's the only thing why I stick around. I want to see why, and why is it? I cannot. I would need to take atropine, belladonna, or MDMA to get this eyes. It's like their eyes are sweating. Say like Catch-22. It's a luxury to get involved in this dying exploration shit with those entities, because to be most truthful, if I die, nothing will change to no one. And I made sure I have no debt or things like that, So if I had any sort of credit, children, blah 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 blah, and if they were any more competent, I wouldn't gamble, But now it's the power of the will. It's really easy. I don't think I'm a fool. It's that easy. And I think others as well, But somehow, some people tend to obliterate, to let go. I can understand, to carry the soul, it takes every day thousands of punches and hits, and it's easier to lose it than to keep it, I can understand that. But I said, it all comes with a cost, But now where time is hacked, we have all the time in the world, There is no limitation. There is no distinctive rule. I really can say I was briefly experimenting and not experimenting, but learning about mushrooms and mycelium. I had some experience with this mushroom, which is called red boy. Had been in Stanford, hidden for a long time. It has red spores, and I had like a deep connection through a web, through Egypt and everywhere, and person's minds. And even when I dream, when I don't use anything, my whole life I'm dreaming and I'm having like souls and people and interactions. So I'm not worthy. I have more eventful life in dreams than here, but I recall my dreams or can even lucidly interact, because of this double agent childhood. I had to develop a way to control subconsciousness, and maybe it's destined, but I'm telling you, it's loving yourself, making sure you keep loving yourself, believe in yourself, don't be stubborn, don't let the ego take over, listen to your heart, observe, learn by observing, experiment, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. We're all the same. Nobody has any upside or downside. We have just different angles, different approaches. We can only learn from each other. What's the thing about mycelium? It never has a pattern. That's what I learned to learn. How to be in the moment. You cannot pass this, let's say, written in stone. So we thought, so it came alive, to life, even though it's also up to the debate now. But the fast I cannot predict. Even if I could, I would want what's in the past most likely occupies some sort of processing and memory, which is confounding and contaminating the momental reality where you're now. So, and Depeche Mode learned me, good don't come easy. That's belief. That's nothing but belief and stubbornness. But you can change your mind. I let's say, for instance, I am not repulsed by homosexuals, let's say. I'm not. Most often, when I talk to them person to person, they're really, really, really great people, and you can learn a lot of different things. When they're together, they like have their own interior thing, which I don't understand. But somehow they like how I look. But they are most of the time they are gentle and polite because they know I'm also not made of sugar. And I think it is obvious that I don't that I prefer girls. But there was a moment where it wasn't unintentional, I think, but I was feeling very lonely, and I met this guy, and it was a platonic relationship. I really liked him because he was listening to me and giving me answers which were really original. But in the end, it turned out that he was really trying to manipulate me, and uh, I don't know what he thought, like to flip me to become uh, homosexual. I don't know. Even I let him touch me, but I really felt, uh, I couldn't say it wasn't my cup of tea. I cannot say, I don't want to be rude, but I didn't like it. I was My volume shrank. I shrank and I twisted my muscles. I don't know. It was like a defensive mechanism. So it's like unconscious impulse that I don't like that. But in contrast to that, by girls, it's the opposite. It's really on, and especially if I touch them. But I also experimented. I didn't let him kiss me. But I was open for it. I was like, okay, let's see. Let's see what's there. The person is interesting. I really don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. That's also how I was raised up. To think of me highest as possible, and that's great. And I work on it every day. And when I talk to my friends, when you don't know what to do work on yourself. So this, what I am today, isn't by any chance. And I wouldn't know how it would be to be relaxed or to have a surplus of anything. Because I'm not that kind of person, because I overthink. I don't, when I have some money, I invest it or I spend it. Most likely this music shit is like bottomless hole. It's like really, what can I say? You have things which are produced in factory, which aren't produced today, and emulations aren't not the same. The electronics are piece of genius and thinking, and everybody who digs that knows, as long as there is music, there will be something you wanna have for yourself, or that's why studio exists. Because you cannot pull those music uh, without having real copper in kilos, and weight, because you have like relays and dead circles and all these trafos and diodes. It makes sense. Somebody's thinking about the current and those things and how it will collide, where it will go, and when you put it through a big system, you get a fat sound. And you have like also mathematics and functions, and people don't understand. It's not clicking on some graphical, uh, I don't know what's called, application, whatever. It's understanding what's going on. Because, for instance, I use Ableton Intro Lite, which is, I think, for free. Yeah, I always use the free version. But even why I use the free version? Because I have like a regular monitor, and I'm not keen to the mouse. I don't like this approach. I like knobs and faders. So when I have like more than 8 channels, I would have to minimize and maximize. When I want to see the whole grid, I want to see the whole canvas, the whole picture. I want to have an oversight, and I want. When I have my track recorder, is 4 track and 8 track. So I don't use the intro version. Doesn't have a sampler. Doesn't have a advanced tools. Doesn't have a sequencer. So I do it by mouse, by hand. Grid doesn't actually matter, except when rhythms are in question. But even then, with the most basic tools, you can do anything, because Ableton is configured to be. That's why it calls live. You have, with the tab knob on your keyboard, you can differentiate between, let's say, Groovebox and timeline mode. In a timeline mode, you make composition, or if you're syncing it with your set, you have like a tempo sync, so you know when your things will shift tempo, and you won't that way lose um, tune. In my case, it wouldn't work, because I cannot say why. But my frequencies are a little bit different for now. But when you use third-party apps, which you didn't pay, on let's say Windows system, because you have to take into account system processing, translation, ASIO, codec, export, sound card, headphones, speakers, your ears, your samples, your sample base, your if you don't use one tool long, how could you hear those small differences? That's why somebody is making mastering for drums or something, because you really need those 30 years of this clicking. I remember my neighbors when I was making a bass sound. If you want to do something new, I said I won't use the 808 or something which everybody uses. I want to use a different source. So you can layer up like 8 sources in a row to get one sound, if you can manipulate them with frequencies. But imagine how it is for the neighbors when they hear a kick sound every 3 seconds from 3 a.m. till 6 a.m. every day. I had to change 10 flats. Not 10 flats, 3 flats, always the same shit. But you have to, if you want to have a reflection how it sounds on a sound system, you have to raise the decibels. You have to speakers or with headphones. But it isn't the same. You know what I mean? With 8 channels, you can always which I did. I didn't like the approach with high demand on storage, so I always export, and what's left is left. It's uncompressed audio, no MIDI, no CPU. MIDI, I don't have the CPU even if I could. Apple, I don't like the system. I don't know how to use it. I'm slow. And it's limited. You cannot use third-party apps. You cannot write your own scripts and those things. And what else? I was in a situation where I used this DAW, like digital audio workstation, for those who don't know, and it was Korg for a mobile phone. I don't recall the name. It was for free. You had like 3 channels, and the synthesizers are amazing, for an Apple iPhone, and you can export it to Dropbox with tail or without tail. So when you take over in Ableton, which is Windows, you have it already in a format which is in tempo-wise synced with Windows. You have Apple, and this synced via Dropbox, and it works. You can do it for free. But the main thing which I learned there is how easy it is to make rhythms with a thumb on a touchscreen. And the second thing is I start with rhythm, then I use bass, and then I make a melody. And if I start dancing, I'm onto something. If not, I'm not. So everything else I do via send, receive, and buses, or analogly. So I don't use any storage. I don't consume storage. I have to compromise. I have no working folders. I have no more than 8 tracks ever, but I have exports. I can go to my cassette recorder and back and so forth. So I have different sources, but I'm not overloading MIDI. I don't have those native instruments contact with sample based or Spitfire though, but I would need a separate storage for this with a separate system, because I don't want to mix my creator console with this. So what I wanted to say on the other side, why it's called Ableton Live, because on the front side you have a groove box. Groove box is like you have like Excel table, like 4x5. Each row is one scene. One scene is one type of melody, music. Each column, you can name it whichever you want, whichever you like. I most likely have it like I have 2 which are beat. One is percussion, one is bass, one is bassline, one is melody, one are noises, effects, and then you can like draw them together. You can sync them either immediately or with countdown, or you can play with it and make like also external equipment and respect. Really, it's not a Windows product that way. It works really good. It's really I'm like really. I tried a lot of systems. I didn't try uh, Pro Tools. I think I would be hooked on Pro Tools, but I don't have the money for that. Maybe one day. But everything else, I can say Ableton is really good. Really good. It is really clean, in terms of export, and you are sort of limited in those things. But I prefer that because I have other equipment to do that as well. So uh, my trick is to make we have the 440 hertz tuning system from Hitler. So you have like these Turkish guitars which don't have the frames on the spots where as regular guitar, and they produce frequencies and tones which aren't only 12 tones like we have. But they have resonances which are Euclid. So they produce harmonies which resonate. So we cannot ignore that, and that's what I'm trying to recreate. I'm trying to recreate or to find maybe something. I don't want to watch too much or learn too much. I hate when somebody tells you what to do and how to do it, because I miss out on everything spontaneous. I will find out myself, and I think I'm quite good at it. So I like to play. That's playing. But I'm not a fool. I read a lot, but I read manuals. I eat manuals. I eat manuals for breakfast. I love them. I hate them. I hate them. I love them. See, I don't hate anybody. I don't have time. You see how my mind is rushing. I'd rather prefer to make music and continue doing like science than to be involved in this secret securities thing. I don't like that. It wears me off. I learn a lot of things, but those are things I don't want to know anything about. But I cannot shake it. If I find out something which is disturbing. But I don't want to be an angel. I didn't ask for that. I can endure. I can endure, and I will carry a lot. But I have almost no gas left. For this shit. Really, that's music is beautiful because you don't have to talk to anybody, and at the same time you talk to everyone. And don't be shy to express yourself. Nobody is more intelligent but anybody else. We're all the same. Nobody had two lives. Nobody has two experiences. Nobody. I don't care how much you read. Observing within your environment, within where you live, or what you think. If you think, let yourself think. If you don't think, start thinking. If you if you need help, I cannot help you because I don't need help. I never needed help. I always hated guidance, but I was very observative, and conclusions I made are based on, it's always testing ground. I developed, let's say, cognitive skills and active memory and easy reachable um, associative passive memory, because I have a sort of, let's say, synesthesia with smell and with some sort of like still shots. That's the perfect word, because it's emotion within one still split of a moment, and it's also synesthetic, and that's how I can travel through memories or dig through my knowledge, because always connected my knowledge. I never learned because I had to. I had problems because of that, but I was also lucky. But if it wasn't for my parents and for the street, and I refused with 6 or 5 years, I refused to eat breakfast because I have like dry mouth and tongue, so I never was hungry in the morning. And they stuffed my food in my hand, but I couldn't eat, so eventually they dropped it. And there's like this shirt you have to wear beneath the shirt. I tore it off as well. I had problems with that as well. And then you have Dolce Vita. I also didn't want to wear that. So it was like you go to the restaurant or you still stay home. If you don't wear Dolce Vita, fuck you, go to the restaurant. I was like 7. You know when Morpheus in the last Matrix meets himself and he says to himself, "You motherfucker," or something like that. My whole life I've been searching for you, and then I found out you made me up just for fun, just for the fun of it. Sometimes I feel like that. I want to find some way over the web, to communicate. I would like to know from my people who watch this which date they are in. I asked my friend one time, could you just load my homepage to see if it exists? Sometimes I'm doubtful. But this is much, much more higher of a trip than I believe any Einstein or Oppenheimer or those guys had. Maybe they did. Jesus was walking on water. So imagine that. To tick, imagine today, like Jesus with TikTok on. Not good. Yeah, there's a small small detail. I was talking about guitar. Once I broke a sixth string, the fattest string, with my thumb, with this perfect stroke. So that was like with this guitar. I sometimes made with some Roland effects in this very room. I felt something going through my body, and I told them it was like 15 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. Even though I have been involved in music for a long, long time. Even in metal music, whatever, for a long time by myself. My music isn't into music. Not my brother a little bit, but all the others, that my father earlier, but not the same music. He's like a hippie, and mom is like disco. But I broke like the sixth string on my guitar. It was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know what I mean? There's no, I have no time for this to change it. So I learned to do it with 5 strings. Somebody else has to do it for me. There was one time my 2 friends bought me a mouse, and one was saying to the other, please take him the mouse with a cable, not with the battery. I come on, take with the battery, blah blah. Of course, 2 months later, battery was all over the mouse and it was dead. I'm not for those. For some things I'm really stupid. I really don't care, for like, let's say, laundry or something like that, clothing, putting clothing into a drawer. I like to wear something, but I don't have respect for it. Money. If you give me money, I will. I really don't know why. I have no money, but if you give me money, even when I have nothing for money, I don't know where I put it, because it's like paper to me. It's so unknown to me that I'm so unused to it that I am. I think I would like to have this card thing, with this near field communication, because I cannot accredit value to money. Interestingly, I realized that just now. This very thing. But with the guitar thing, or with this Ableton 8 track, I'll use what you give me. There are no demands, Only good headphones. Because I trust my ears, and so should you. There are some people who can hear very, very high frequencies, or even changes in pressure dynamics. So some people have this developed, some people don't cannot even hear it even if they want to. Musicians are very, very likely deaf for the high frequencies and the lower basses because of they have were on stage where it's loud and every day, so they cannot produce mastered record, So you need people who listen actively, loud, and have this capability of interpreting and hearing those frequencies, and those in between. Because not only once was, can you hear that? Can you hear that? Sometimes I cannot hear it from, I don't know. Can you hear that from there? I don't know what you're talking about. I cannot, me myself, I cannot hear the words, never. I don't know. I needed like 20 years for some songs which I was knowing by vowels, but I didn't know the meaning. I didn't care about meanings of songs. I don't even know it now. So I learned words for school, for academics, and now I use it like magic.